Okay, my name is Ladd, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's about 2.5 years ago, and I feel like having been diagnosed, I am aware that I had it probably a couple years before that. And I first noticed it I play hockey and in like an adult league, and I noticed my balance wasn't as good, and had stiff muscles, and I wasn't skating as fast, and
soft voice,
softer voice, not speaking up, and then a tremor. I'm a producer and director, and I would do interviews, and I would have a script and have a piece of paper, and I noticed sometimes I would start the paper would vibrate, and I'd have to keep quiet and stop myself. And I can give you an idea of my symptoms now. If you can tilt down, I'm shaking both my leg and my arm, and then when my arm doesn't swing as freely, and this is all on the right side. So about 2.5 years ago, I went to a neurologist and was diagnosed. I'm stuck.
This is a good thing to show,
Okay.
honey.
Okay.
You know, like you know what you want to say in that.
Okay.
That's true.
All right. I'm ready. You rolling?
I'm rolling.
About 2.5 years ago, I went to a neurologist and I was diagnosed, and he said, "You definitely have Parkinson's, and the good news is it's only on one side. They're sort of mild symptoms, and so it's likely not to get that bad." And I took some hope in that. Since I know more about it, I've realized I have depression issues, low energy. I almost need a nap every day, and this is like a 2 or 3 hour nap. My gait is stiff, just talking about more symptoms. My gait is stiff, especially on the right side. And anything else?
Aching.
Aching muscles, and like when I get up in the morning, my trunk muscles are very stiff, and it's hard to even turn over. So I have classic Parkinson's symptoms. The treatment that this neurologist is offering is basically carbidopa-levodopa, which replaces the dopamine in your brain that my part of the brain, the substantia nigra, is not producing enough of. And I have to say this, it's very effective at treating the symptoms, and that's all they say. That's all the AMA says, is that it sort of treats the symptoms or masks the symptoms, and it's quite an effective drug. It's been around for a while. But there's no talk, no promise of any cure. It just treats the symptoms. In fact, there's evidence that there's, like they say, 1/4 to 1/3 of the people, the treatment will, at some point, maybe 5 years, will be less effective, and even that the carbidopa-levodopa may give you long-term effects that are not good, that would interfere with the natural production of dopamine. Carbidopa-levodopa is basically putting dopamine in your brain. It's just replacing it that my brain is not manufacturing. So my explanations of exactly how Parkinson's works may not be completely accurate because I'm not a doctor, but I have enough of an understanding of it to know that there's no promise of cure or going back. What's the word for going back?
Regression.
Regression. Keep rolling.
Reversal of the symptoms.
Also, just so you may notice, my thinking is not completely clear. I'm a pretty articulate guy, but I'm off my medication now for like 12 hours for this video to show what my symptoms are like, because the carbidopa would mask that pretty well.
And to show Dr. Sponaugle.
And to show Dr. Sponaugle so he can sort of have a before and after view of me. And so what led me to be here at the clinic? My wife did some very good research. She's been very helpful in doing the research, and found this place and was considering 2 or 3 other places that have alternative treatments, but was convinced after coming down here for a weekend and going to the Monday seminar that Dr. Sponaugle is going quite a bit beyond everybody else, and seems very confident, and she was convinced that this could offer something. Now, I'm a perfect guy for this because I'm a skeptic. I'm ready to give it my all and follow all the procedures and recommendations and all the treatments, but I don't have a feeling of like hopeful dreaminess, like everything's going to be cool, and you know, kind of the opposite of my wife in that way. There she is. It's her birthday today, so say happy birthday. She's an angel of mercy. Okay, one other symptom I've had of my poor health is that I've had psoriasis for about 30 years, and I'll show you. It's like all around my chest area and back of my legs, and I used to have it badly in my scalp, and I've had this for about 30 years. It has been much worse than it is now, and I think I've been told by other people that it could be related to leaky gut, and I think the detoxing that I'm going to go through soon here, I feel quite hopeful that that's going to alleviate that. So, as I said before, I have a healthy skepticism, I think, towards this whole procedure. I'm open to any outcome, but I'm not tied to any outcomes. So my skepticism, as I've mentioned a couple times, is also, I think, related to Parkinson's. I have a little bit of a negative attitude, I've lost sort of a lust for life that I've always had. I've always been very athletic, into sports, kayaking. I still play hockey. I still play tennis. But I do have sort of I have depression issues, and you know, a negative attitude is definitely part of Parkinson's, because your brain's not firing and you're not thinking freely and the emotions aren't flowing freely. I would say that's my layman's explanation. So that's my, this is my first video, my introductory video, the before, if you will. And I look forward to the treatment where I've met Dr. Sponaugle and was very impressed at his dedication and diligence and the work he's put into trying to find these alternative methods that he really believes in, and I'm starting to believe in. So I'll see you in a month or so and see if I'm doing better. Thank you. I play a lot of tennis, and I noticed, you know, I'd hold my hand on the racket like that, and I'd notice I'd quit playing and my hand would want to stay in that position. That's part of Parkinson's, is sort of your flexors tend to cramp up, and also I get a lot of muscle cramps. So this is me, you know, off my meds for 12 hours. If I went another 12 hours, I think I'd be in really bad shape. And after this interview, I will take my carbidopa levodopa and be feeling better, but of course realizing it's just masking the symptoms and it's not gonna heal me, and that's what I'm here for, to see if I can get healed. Thank you.